Unless something absolutely amazing happens, this economic collapse is about ready to get a lot worse. Hey everybody, JJ here, Bolt to the Bust. It is Tuesday, November 6th, 2020. If you were waiting for a $1,200 stimulus check, I've got very, very bad news for you. The stimulus checks have been put off indefinitely, and we'll talk more about the possibilities and future dates. Right now, there is no definite date, so it's indefinite. More trouble with jobs. Regal cinemas have also basically failed, and it looks to be a complete shutdown. We're going to talk about that. We've got the highest trade deficit here in the U.S. since 2006. Let's go ahead and start right here. This is out of CNET. Stimulus negotiations have been canceled. Now, they're saying until after November 3rd, but they don't say when. How long after November 3rd? A week after November 3rd? A month? A year? I mean, this is indefinite. So this is very, very bad news for anyone, and there's millions of people that are in dire need of this check, and it's likely only going to be $1,200, even if and when it is negotiated and passed and finally sent out. So like I was saying at the beginning, something big, something amazing is going to need to happen to prevent this economic collapse. And I should elaborate. The economic collapse is already here. The only thing keeping mass pain, mass devastation, Mad Max scenario is all of the other stimulus, the enhanced unemployment benefits, the regular unemployment benefits, the PPP loans, the deregulation of the banking system so people can continue to borrow. They put a stop on evictions and foreclosures. People are getting assistance with their utility bills. Record food lines in many, many cities across the U.S. Did I mention all the people that had to cancel their utility bills? It's so much I just can't keep up anymore. This country is in big trouble. There's a lot of people in big trouble. And it's really strange. I mean, even before the shutdown recession was induced, we knew, and we've talked about it here a couple years now, for a couple years, that about 70% of people were living paycheck to paycheck. But yet, people were slowly integrated into this reality or into this illusion that this was the normal, that this was acceptable, that this is how everybody's living. Everybody lives paycheck to paycheck. Everybody has debt. Right, a small fraction of people actually have their homes paid off, and a very small fraction of people are actually out of debt. Most people are carrying some sort of debt. And if you're one of the smart ones, or maybe one of the lucky ones, maybe you're a trust fund person, but if you're one of the lucky ones that are out of debt, have a home paid off, consider yourself very, very blessed, because most people are not even close to being equipped to what's ahead of us. Unless there's some sort of amazing bill that's passed, some massive reformation of the monetary system, or combination of a few things, maybe debt forgiveness. I don't think that's going to happen, so that's why I've been saying here for a couple years, prepare for the bear, prepare for things to get worse. And with these new signs that we're seeing today, hope is continuing to fade. Now let's talk about Regal cinemas. And imagine how many thousands of jobs this is going to take with it. Regal movie chain will close all 536 U.S. theaters on Thursday. Okay, and these jobs at these theaters were not very high-paying jobs. And sure, there's going to be some upper-level management people that'll lose their jobs also. But most of these jobs were low-paying, entry-level service sector jobs. So these people are going to go from not making it to living paycheck to paycheck to making not enough to keep up with the cost of living, to now being in the unemployment line, right? Unless some other amazing job opportunities come up. Well, here's one right here. Maybe these people can work at the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree is planning on hiring over 25,000 workers for the holiday season. It's going to be another lower-paying, entry-level position that's likely going to require people to still go into debt just to try to keep their head above water. This is an economic disaster, right? We have the inflation machine, the inflation monster, the banks issuing endless liquidity to keep the banks operational, to keep the markets propped up, but yet millions of people on the verge of living on the streets. But yet no one will question the system. Everybody wants to talk about what's in the news, sports, right? All of these other distractions that are going on out there, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But these are distractions to have everyone pointing in the wrong direction, or pointing at the straw man instead of addressing the real fundamental flaws with our economy. And it's looking like things are not going to get much better soon. We were told over the past 4 years or so that we're going to have tons of manufacturing jobs coming back to the U.S. Well, let's take a look at some data here that blows that theory out of the water. Wall Street Journal, the global outlook brightens as U.S. consumer imports reach pre-pandemic levels. So the global outlook's looking better because people that do have money here in the U.S. or people that are spending their stimulus checks or their unemployment checks, well, they're buying more goods from overseas. Why? Because we're not manufacturing much here and we're still having to import the bulk of our items here. The U.S. trade deficit in August was the largest since 2006 on recovery of consumer goods imports. So where is the manufacturing? Why are we having to import more and more goods? Right? This economic recovery, this manufacturing job resurgence, it was a fable. It was a fairy tale. Okay, here is a chart right here, and we see the sort of an incline here up until recently. So things are already trending in the wrong direction. Right? So anyone that tells you that this was all about the shutdown, well, take a look at this chart and tell them that things were headed in the wrong direction previously. The trade deficit was rising. Sure, there was ups and downs and dips, but we see the surge here to the far right. And now the leaders and the implementers of these failed economic policies, now they have their excuse. All right, never let a good crisis go to waste. Now they can say, oh yeah, it was the best economy ever. Never minding that most of the people were in debt, living paycheck to paycheck. Look how low the unemployment number was before the shutdown. All right, now I'm not saying anybody allowed this to happen, but it sure is convenient that the shutdown happened right as the economic implosion. And remember the bank liquidity crisis that began last October of 2019 now. So expect further deregulation, further money printing, endless digits on a screen to keep the failed economic system propped up, to keep the zombie corporations alive, to keep the banks lending. Where does it end? You guys let me know. Thanks for watching this report. Bo Boom Bear Bust. Good night, everybody. Stay well, stay safe, stay prepared. Peace.